Okay. It looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jason Levine, Principal Evangelist for Adobe Creative Cloud. And for today's brief live stream, I'm going to talk to you about a way to organize your story, i.e. all of the footage that you shoot before it ever even begins hitting the timeline in a new view, new as of April, called Freeform. And the Freeform View is a really awesome visual way to organize your content. It's really great also if you just have lots of footage that you need to quickly sift through and visually organize in a storyboard kind of way. Of course, you've been able to do some of this in the past, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But then I'm just going to show you quickly with some recent footage that I just shot in Alaska, how you can just kind of organize it all together, how you can group things together easily. You could even group things together via metadata similarities, and then real easily begin building your timelines. So as always, it's lovely to see so many people from all over the world. I've already missed a bunch of you here in the Facebook chat. Mubashar, Samson, Russell, Armand, Charles, Naman, Claudio. All right, Ali, Max Bazovsky, very nice to see you all. All right, Berat, thank you so much. Hey, Desiree, Motion Man, great to see you. Very cool. All right, and then let's see what we've got going over here. On YouTube as well, of course, we're, as always, going out to YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, and Facebook. Oh, Berat, you're in Turkey. Very, very nice. I miss Istanbul. It's been quite some time since we've been there. Just Samson, how's it going? All right. So let's go ahead and get started. We can keep this one kind of short, and because really, this is simple. This is easy. If you haven't discovered this, it's kind of unlikely that you would just stumble upon it. Like I said, this was released back in April, and I love this view. It just works really well. And in the exact situation I'm in, I'm actually now going to be building the basis of a project, at least in the organizational phase right now, just to get things started. So here in the project panel, which I'm just going to dock all the way over here to the left, I have all of this content that I shot during 2 weeks in Alaska that I just spent recently. So it's not that much footage, I don't know, 20, 30 clips or so, but you know, one thing is that even before I begin setting ins and outs and making selects, it would just make life easier if it was organized by, by location. I mean, I went to multiple cities, did a lot of different hiking and camping sites on rivers, on lakes, and just to organize it and make it easier. Some shots have people, some are just landscapes, right? Some I plan on uploading to Adobe Stock, some are personal. So it's a combination of all of these things. So let's start first by going into the Freeform view. Now, just a second, before I actually get there, keep in mind, of course, that you have 3 traditional views now, or 3 views that you can leverage inside of the project panel. You've got the traditional list view, which I think is still the default. We all know what that looks like. Here you can see all of your clips inside the project panel, all of your metadata based on whatever you have your metadata settings, display settings set to. So you can see here, this is a combination of 1080 and 4K content. All of this shot on the iPhone, by the way. I decided to keep my rig, my gear, super light and lean. So it just makes life a lot easier, when traveling these days, to have a 4K camera in your pocket. Absolutely love it, and couldn't be happier with the look of the content. If it's well exposed, especially, and all of this was pretty much outdoors, it just shines. So you've got your list view, but this doesn't help you organize anything really, unless you're just using metadata specifically. And then we had the classic icon view. Now this is pretty cool. Of course, you can resize the icons here. You can, in fact, do some very basic storyboarding. So if I wanted to move things around in a particular order, it will respect those. The only limitation here is that there's no way to group anything. There's no way to really sort. It's effectively linear. So you can move things around and kind of tile them in the way that you'd want them to appear, a la a storyboard, but it's in a very linear fashion. So it has some limitations there. So this is why we introduced the Freeform view. Hold on, I'm just clicking back to the chats here for a second. Okay, so, excuse me, God, I'm getting kind of froggy today. So let's go ahead and choose the Freeform icon, which is this one that you see right here. And when we go into Freeform View, one of the first things that I typically do is I will undock this panel. And the reason for that, now I'm on a single monitor here, is that this effectively becomes a video artboard. That's really the best term that I can use, especially if you come from other parts of the Adobe CC universe. You're already intimately familiar with artboards. We've got them in Photoshop, we've got them in Illustrator, we've got them in Adobe XD, and it's just a complete and free form type of way to lay out your content. We've got our little resizer down here, so I can size everything down, and you can see now, based on the space I have, everything's kind of just lined up all the way on the side, but I can very easily start moving things around. So let's start with some of this content up at the top here. So all of this footage here, this was all shot in an area called Seward, Alaska. So just based on the look here, I kind of know what it is that I'm looking for. All right. I can take these clips, I can select multiple clips simultaneously, and I can do something like I can resize them. So let's make these larger, or again, I can make them extra large. When I've got these clips stacked together, I can also hover scrub over top of them. So I can see, just like in the media browser, exactly what's in them. If I want to set in and out points or make effectively my best selections inside of this master clip, I can do just that. I can either click inside right here and grab the little playhead, or I can simply JKL through these clips like this. I can set an in. All right, scrub ahead. I can set an out. And just like that, you can see I've got my little playhead right here. Very easily see what's going on inside of these clips, grouping them together. All right. Here's another series of clips here. Now these are from different mountain ranges. The ones that you're seeing here are from an area called Hatcher's Pass. And I know they're similar based on the mountain formations and the light. Again, I don't have to stack them sort of diagonally. I just like the way it looks. Again, this is a visual way to compose your story. Now I've got lots of water, running water, ocean and lake shots here. Some of these Seward, some of these other parts. I've got some shots of my kids and friends tubing and boating. So I'm going to grab all these together like this. Okay. Again, some additional shots here out of Hatcher's Pass. Content of some friends on a boat. And again, I can continue to move things around. Now, why I say this is like an artboard is because you can move things completely off the canvas, and the canvas continues to grow. So this really makes it very flexible, and if you're on one of those extreme ultra-wide monitors or multiple monitors, you can really lay out all of this content real easily, really quickly, all right? And again, we can do a group resize. We can even resize an individual clip as we're grouping them together. Let's just like make this one extra large, just kind of as a focal point, as a highlight of what's contained inside of this content, okay? Now, if you right-click or control-click in the gray space where there's no content, you'll see that you've got a couple of options here. So the first is you always have the ability to realign to that square grid, all right? You also can reset, if you don't want to leverage what we're seeing here, you can organize your content and reset it based on any one of the available metadata parameters that you see here. So if I wanted to reset things based on frame rate in like an ascending order, this was shot with a combination of 30, 60, 120, and 240 FPS, I could do that. You also have the option here, and this is my favorite thing in Freeform, to save layouts, okay? So as I'm beginning to organize this stuff, maybe this is version 1. I'm going to choose Save Layout, and we'll call this Alaska V1, all right? Now, as I begin to refine this and do more, I might start moving things around even more, augmenting how I'm laying stuff out on screen. Again, we've got a ton of stuff down here. We can move these things up. Again, just grab all of this, okay? Move through our video artboard here. All right, move all this content up like this. So I can begin to reorganize. All right, oh, so here's some more stuff from Seward, Alaska. So maybe I want to add that to the Seward collection. I can grab these, move up here, stack these over top of these, maybe move all of these pieces of content over here, all right? Maybe take these down below. Maybe I'll shrink these down. Again, you're getting the idea. I'm just making and changing the options as I go. So we'll make these super small. All right, move that stuff into view. Maybe grab a couple additional shots right here and just move those up. So I take a look at this and I'm like, okay, well, this is still very free form. I don't know that this is any kind of story kind of way, but you can see where I'm starting to organize like footage. Again, here's some more of the boat footage. Here's some more Seward. This is outside of Seward here. All right, this is lake footage here. And I'm like, all right, maybe I want to come back to this particular layout. I like this for whatever reason. Well, once again, I can save over top of the original or create a new one. So we'll call this Alaska V2 story. All right. So I continue to move things around, change up how it appears on screen, whatever. You get the idea. All right. And as I'm doing that, maybe at some point I'm like, oh, you know what? I liked the way I had that content organized before. Maybe I can go back to that view. Or maybe there's something in particular that I want to reference from an original view. All right. Here, I'll go ahead and save. I'm going to save over top of the one we just did. Save layout Alaska V2. So I just updated Alaska V2. If I right click in that gray space again, I can go into restore layout. And now you'll see it lets me recall any of the saved layouts that I made. Now I want to point out that these layouts are bin specific. So every bin that contains footage has the option to be viewed as freeform, but the layouts are specific to the bin. These aren't global. So like I save a project and I go to another project, I can't recall Alaska V1. They're not only specific to the project, but they're specific to the bin. All right, so that's really essential. Let's go back to Alaska V1. Right before we really kind of got things all organized and moved about, do that, and it does just that. Or again, reset to grid. Let's reset everything by frame rate, like this. Okay, so now everything is in, let's see, order of frame rates here. Okay, grouping all the frame rates together. All right, and then I decide, you know what? Actually, I want to go back to that Alaska V2 storyboard look. Restore layout, Alaska V2 story, and there it is, exactly as I left it, right? And then at this point, if I wanted to start putting things in timelines, I can do just that. Hold on, let me uncheck this. Just grab this footage here, okay? I can take this boat content that we see right here, right click, and I can say new sequence from clip, all right? Builds a timeline for me down below. I'm just gonna shrink the view here for a second, all right? And now you can see, got content of kids on the tube, all right? And it's in a mixture of frame sizes, etc. Okay? Similarly, if I want to take this clip here and place this one in its own new sequence, okay, can do that as well. And look at that sun. Oh man, so beautiful. It's bringing back memories for me. It's only been a couple weeks and I miss it already. Some of the most, truly the most majestic, amazing landscapes, sunrises, sunsets I've ever seen. Okay? So it just makes it really easy to organize, lay out your story, true storyboard fashion, and it's freeform, meaning that like the artboards that you have in Illustrator, Photoshop, XD, it's endless. You can keep placing content in any way that you want. You can set in and outs. You can reset to grid. You can organize by metadata parameters, and then you can begin building timelines. And ultimately, if you're doing where you're making your sort of ins and outs, but you want to, from there, kind of put your story together, that's a great opportunity to use Vashi Netamansky's pancake timeline concept, where we're pulling, from sequences that are sort of, one over top of the other, right? So if we were to do something like this, you could have your source favorite content here, and then when you make your selects, drag it down below, right? Or set ins and outs on these timelines and drag them down into your master program monitor below really easily. So it's a great way to just really begin the process of organizing all your content, making everything just look slick, look awesome. And I love this freeform view. You'll also find that if you're working in the latest version of Premiere, it's super speedy, super slick, super fast. Works far better than it did even just a couple of months ago. So this is probably some 1080 shot at like 240, which is why it's a bit smaller here inside of a 4K container. And that, my friends, is the Freeform View. So let's go back. We're going to go back to some questions here, see if there are any. Maybe there aren't, and if so, I will send you on your way until tomorrow. All right. Tom Webb from New Zealand, nice to see you. Mikolaj, Abel, Michael Westcott, how's it going? Jose Holgera, rock on, nice to see you. Gare from Norway. All right. Eric Sattler, folder organize, I use post haste. Mustini, great to see you too. Ali, all right. Dragon Suzamora, oh, thank you very much. Gabriel from Lira, Northern Uganda. All right. Daniel Patrick, this will be a real joy on a big screen or second monitor. Absolutely. And again, I've got one monitor. Well, I only work on one monitor, but for the stream, I'm in 1080p here. Normally, I'm in 4K, so I have a lot more screen real estate. But yes, it's wonderful, and I've seen people leverage this on some of the LG, those ultra wide, crazy ultra wide monitors, and one, it just looks beautiful having all your content, visual, and everything there. But it's super useful. All right. Eric Sattler, all right. Gregory Fish, thank you. Lassie Bryan, amazing, sweet. Hamza, Majed, all right. Bernice from Georgia, nice to see you. Jamie Griffin, can you organize bin folders too? If you mean organize your bin, so that, if you're just organizing the bins, that's going to be, you can color code them, alphabetized or whatever. Sure. But remember, if you go inside the bin, you can turn that into a freeform view. And then inside of that bin, you can have specific layouts. And each bin will retain whatever mode you use. So if you're using freeform in one bin, list view in another, icon view in another, all of that stays with the individual bins, which is pretty cool. All right. Let's bounce over here and see if we see anything. All right. Russ Tuff, hey, nice to see you. Juan de la Cruz Escalante, how is going? All right. Josh Milton. Yeah, this is super cool, man. And it's really easy. I mean, it's very, very simple, but very effective. Vince Lujan, if you want to look at all clips in a project but have multiple bins, can you just add a parent bin to view them? That would be awesome. Right now, I mean, I suppose in theory you could have subclips or aliases, copies of your clips, but no, there's no way to see everything because again, the bins are. How am I trying to phrase this? Anything that goes into a bin is specific to that bin. So yeah, no, that's a great idea though, Vince. And if we don't already have that in one of our feature requests, we really should. I mean, that's where I'm trying to think. How else would you do it? No, even media browsers is searching at the bin level. So there's no real way to reveal everything unless it's sort of open. But that's a great idea. Okay. All right, Mohammed from Planet Earth, South Asia. Nice to see you. Okay. Ruben, Slowpoke. Bernice, your video looks amazing for 1080. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, again, some of this, well, all of this rather, it's all, as I mentioned, it's all iPhone. So that just tells you here. I was going to see if I can find this clip in particular because it's just really. Hold on, let me reset my screen and I'll just show you this one real fast. It's definitely, I mean, that's the thing with the iPhone today. It's just shockingly good. I'll put this in here. And like I said, when it's exposed properly and particularly outdoors, I mean, it just rocks. I mean, I'm not saying it's brilliant. This is me on a boat, by the way, so it's moving pretty quickly. So this is a little shaky, this particular piece right here. But yeah, I mean, it's lovely. It just looks nice. And again, it also helps to have, you know, beautiful landscapes. Beautiful landscapes to work with. That helps too, you know. Yeah, I mean, there's no real perceivable noise here, of course. The time of day that's shot, you know, less likely to see that, but just super cool. Little silhouettes and things. Probably a couple moments here. I shot some of this with Filmic Pro. A few moments where there's some overexposure, but that's where you can, you know, you get creative, you know. Probably do something like this to make it even more silhouetted. Bring those highlights down. Darken the shadows. Yeah. Just really, really cool. Love it. Okay. All right. Let's see. Check over here on Periscope. All right. Lots of people tuning in on Periscope. Skuro, how are you? Lacey. All right. Poindexter, Jonathan, Mason, Chris Nito. Okay. Well, it looks like that's all the Q&A that we have for right now. All right. Kimmy Vellard, cool. All right. Gabriel Nam Latizi Takuta. Will that work with nested sequences too? Yeah, sure. I mean, so again, it doesn't affect the sequence at all. In other words, you can have nested sequences. The footage still lives in bins, though, right? Ultimately, so it doesn't change anything that you were already doing. If you were organizing previously in list view or icon view, it's no different, except now you just have a new visual way to do it with more visual organization capabilities. Think of it that way. All right. Benjamin, what did you miss? What'd you miss? Freeform View. Replay available now. So with that, my friends, I'm going to send you off on your way. I'll be back tomorrow on the After Effects Facebook page, as well as YouTube and Twitter Periscope, talking about something cool in After Effects. And then on Thursday, I'll be featuring the Neat Video Noise Reduction plugin for doing noise reduction on footage. It's one of many out there. It's one that I've been using for years and years. They're in version 5 now. It's compatible with Premiere Pro, with After Effects, and then, of course, all other NLEs. Great way if you are shooting stuff that has noise to really zap that noise out of there and make it look amazing. And you've got tons of user-definable parameters. It's a really great effect. So we're going to showcase that on Thursday. And actually, tomorrow's up for grabs. It could be After Effects. It could be audio. We'll see what kind of mood I'm in. In any case, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And we'll see you again next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.